smoking, it's a revolution. Shots to your head, it's an execution. It's being us versus the corrupt. Red dot, put a cross to your head. Let the Lord interrupt. Gun smoking, it's a revolution. Shots to your head, it's an execution.
Hey.
What up, Liberty Goons?
What
Don and John looking like twins tonight. And these aren't released yet, but they will be shortly.
I tried to give you a salute and I got caught on my worst salute ever.
This is the Liberty Goons podcast. I am Don. You know me I'm John. I do that all the time. I am John from To a Patriot Ranch. You know me for the pew pews. And my co-host over here, I'm going to get it right. Yep, that side.
Yeah.
That is Don. You know him from Don Welch Music, at Don Welch Music on all platforms. Welcome to episode 16. This is going to be our last full episode for about a week and a half or so, maybe about 2 weeks. As we mentioned on the last podcast, I am moving, so I have to build up my new studio at the new place, and Don is going to be headed actually down to kind of where I'm at now.
I know.
Florida.
He's going this way and I'm going this way.
Yeah. So we're both going to be out of commission, but stay tuned to our social. You can find us at Liberty Goons on all social channels. We're going to do some lives, keep everybody engaged, and maybe do kind of little mini versions of what we do here while we're both being mobile. Oh man. All right. Why don't we jump into it tonight, huh? So part of the last episode, we talked about kind of the infringements on our rights, and I went on a little bit of a diatribe about, how I'm done with compromise, like how I'm over it all. And that's what I want to talk to everybody tonight about, is about sticking to our grounds and holding firm on what we believe in, and holding firm on the conservative movement, and making sure that, we are not settling for middle ground, that we're not settling for give a little, take a little. The time for that is over. The Democrats have proved, the far left has proved, that they are not in this to negotiate. They're not in this to make everybody happy. They are in it to win it, and we have to be in it to win it too. So when it comes to gun legislation, we have to say no.
Yeah.
When it comes, straight no. No more quote unquote common sense gun control, none of that stuff. It has to end now. When it comes to raising taxes, the answer is absolutely no.
No.
When it comes to raising the debt ceiling without cuts to our current spending, the answer has to be absolutely no. If it is against where we want this movement to go, if it is against what is going to make us prosperous as a people and as a country, the answer has to be no. There is no more time for this. Oh, let's work between both aisles of government, and let's make sure that we give them a little bit, and like, oh, it's okay, if you want these gender reaffirming surgeries for minors, we'll give you this as long as you don't touch this. No, the answer has to be absolutely no. What we have done since before Bill Clinton took office is we have allowed time and time again far too movement to the center left. And Don and I have spoke a lot about being okay with some topics that are sitting in the center of the spectrum.
Yeah.
We have talked about, I don't care if marijuana gets legalized. It's not a fight that I'm trying to fight or win or anything like that. I don't care about gay marriage. It's not a fight I'm dying on. All those things are things that we're not fighting on. But the problem is that the left has taken that as weakness for us. And so now they're taking our weakness and they're using it to get us to budge on all of these serious topics. And we cannot allow that to happen. And that has to be a down ballot decision for all of us. If you are not taking a look at all of your candidates and saying that these people 100% support the things that I believe in, then you can't vote for them, or you have to go talk to them about where they're wrong. Like Don said in his opening, I believe it was 3-4 weeks ago, that these people are accessible. Go to their meetings, go to their town halls, shake their hands, and tell them what you think about the policies that they're putting out there.
Yeah.
But you can't budge on your principles and on what you believe is right. If you take a look at a candidate and they are not the vision of what you have for this country and what the conservative movement has for this country, you cannot vote for them. You cannot. Don has talked a long time about getting the rhinos out of office, and slowly but surely we're doing that by attrition. We have to speed up that process. We can't just do it by attrition anymore. We have to vote these people out. We can't wait for them to retire. We can't wait for them to do stupid shit and get kicked out of Congress. We can't wait for any of that. We have to kick them out now. There are a lot of strong races across this country, down ballot races, that we absolutely have to win. We talk about the presidency in all of these swing states. When you take a look at Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania and Ohio, we don't just need Donald Trump to win there. We need the Republican and non-rhino candidates in there to be the ones that we vote for and to win. If you guys are 2A supporters and you live in one of those battleground states, I believe it's ammo.com. If you click on their little three dot drop down, they have every single like contested race in these battleground states listed with all of the candidates and how they vote and what they have said about 2A.
Yep.
Go there, click on them, read them. Even some of the people that you might be like, oh, I've always voted for this person. They're a good conservative man or woman or whatever it is. Take a look at it. Because if it says that they supported the Safer Communities Act, or if it says that they supported any gun legislation, they are not proponents of the Constitution. Mm-hmm. That means that they are just toys. They are marionettes for the rhinos and for the elite class. We have to vote them out. Yep. So my final words tonight: do your research. I know everybody says it. It's kind of cliche to say, like, do your research. I get it. When it was 20 years ago, 25 years ago, before, the internet was this vast layer of information, it was really hard to find out exactly what a candidate felt about every single topic. It's 2024, folks. It is not hard to figure out what a candidate believes. There are so many sites that do the same thing as ammo.com is, listing every single thing they voted for, every single thing that they believe in, and you can find that information very, very quickly. So before you go vote on November 5th, take 20, 30 minutes the night before. Take a look at your local races. Your local races matter more to you than the presidency does. Take a look at those races. What do those people believe in?
Yep.
Don't go into the voting booth not knowing what you're going to do.
Yep. And, really what they should have done, John, is, 2 or 3 months ago, whenever we were doing, whenever they were doing congressional races, within their own party. So like when Republicans, for example, in Texas, I always go back to this one, we had Brandon Herrera versus, oh my God.
Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez. Yeah. That's how much I don't care about the guy. I just try to forget his name. But yeah, we had Brandon Herrera versus Tony Gonzalez, and I try to get Brandon Herrera in. And so many people here was like, oh, he doesn't have a chance. Yeah, we want him, but he doesn't have a chance. So they just didn't vote. And that's the problem. Like, you guys in 2000, and I guess it'd be 2026, you guys have to do all these congressional races and Senate races, anything that's a midterm race. And it's going in. I'm talking about like within your own party. I'm not talking about Republican versus Democrat. I am talking about within your own party. you absolutely have to vote the rhino out and put in the good conservative person. Because what's going to happen is then you're stuck with a rhino Republican or a Democrat. And then you have no choice but to vote for the rhino. And that sucks because the last thing you want to do is put a Democrat in, because at least some of these conservatives are getting so strong they can grab some of these rhinos by the nuts and hold them back now, because we're starting to take over Congress. It's starting to become this patriot, libertarian, conservative leaning Congress, and the rhinos are slowly going. So unfortunately, if you didn't do that and you have a rhino, you have to vote for him this time. In 2026, do your damn job and vote them motherfuckers out.
And like I said, either don't vote for them or go up to them and let them know how you feel.
Yeah.
So, man, that's my opening for tonight. We've got a ton of news to go over, Don Walsh.
Yeah, John, that was a great opening, by the way.
Thanks, buddy.
That was awesome.
We have the news cycle. We just filmed 3 days ago,
Yep.
and the news cycle in a matter of a couple days has just spun in circles. So we'll open it up with just came out. So Trump was trying to get his case moved from New York to a federal court, and he had tried this obviously before the case got started and was denied. And then after the Supreme Court ruling, his sentencing date is 7 days away, I believe.
Yeah.
They tried to do this again. And once again, a federal judge said, nope, not happening. Your shit is staying in New York court. So, I think it's rather unfortunate. I think the Supreme Court kind of laid out what their expectations was for this kind of stuff. And you still have judges down the line that are refusing to follow what the Supreme Court says. And I think that this goes just even further into a lot of the stuff that you and I have talked about, Don, with 2A cases where, the Supreme Court has spoken, and they are the Supreme Court of the land. They are the head of the judicial system. And you have judges throughout this country that are blatantly disregarding Supreme Court precedent.
Yeah, the Fourth Circuit Court, that just happened. They just completely ignored and said, we don't care what the Supreme Court says. I mean, that just happened. So, I mean, people do not understand how important this election truly is. Back to, what you started with. This all matters because presidents put in federal court judges, they put in Supreme Court judges, they put in, they can push for people to be, the attorney general for one. They can put the director of the FBI, the director of the ATF in. All of these things are extremely important for you guys to go out and vote for.
A lot of judges are elected locally too. Even like the state and the your like county.
Yeah, so
judges.
we actually, I think it was 9 out of the 12 judges that Ken Paxton was trying to get in. He got in and got rid of we had 12 bad judges that try to F him over. I mean, crazy, wild, insane stuff. And they got voted out a few months ago. Now you got 9 people that he wanted in, so the courts changed, and that matters for your 2A rights. That matters big time, because the pistol brace case stopped for a little while when he was going through all his court stuff, because he's the one that put it up in the Fifth Circuit. Same thing with the bump stock case. He was a big part of that. He was a big part of the what was the other one? The suppressor case. That was the biggest one. So, all of these things are super important. And we lost that one, but it's going
That's going to the Fifth Circuit now.
Yep, exactly. It's going to the Fifth Circuit now.
Just saw that a little bit ago. It was funny. Do you remember we were at DOA and we're goals, and we're talking to a couple people about Anthony from Armed Scholar and how like we can't stand his titles or his thumbnails because it's always so fucking misleading.
I know. He gets me
And
every time. I'm like, ah.
you know what I've started to do now is like I usually watch it on my TV instead of my phone, and I always like, you know, when you watch on your TV, it'll give you the first like 20 seconds as like a preview. I'd like sit there and watch the preview before I click on it because he's a fucking clickbaiting motherfucker.
Dude, he's the world's worst. I like his content.
I
But
love you, Anthony, but like, damn, dude.
stop clickbaiting us, bro.
Yeah.
We'll still watch it. We promise you.
Right. Speaking of other content creators, I don't have this on our list but I just wanted to mention it. Rest in peace, Paul Harrell.
Absolutely.
He is one of the OG legend gun tubers. Really, really influential guy in this business, and really bought some awesome content before most of us were making content. So he's been battling cancer for I believe it's been about a year now.
Pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, pancreatic cancer, and just passed away today. So rest in peace, Paul Harrell.
Yeah, he was making content before some of y'all were even born.
Yeah. Yeah. Before you were like even knew what YouTube was. Speaking of other kind of serious stuff, there was a school shooting in Georgia. We're not going to get too far into the details. I'm not big on hyping up this kind of stuff or talking about this kind of stuff. I think it breeds other crazy people when they hear about this, and we glorify it. Not necessarily glorify it, but at least put too much talk into it. Obviously, Don and I, our thoughts and prayers, our T's and P's go out to the families of those people that were killed today. I believe there was 4 people that were killed, 2 students and 2 teachers. So we're going to talk.
Only thing we really know about it, we know that the kid's 14 years old. And as far as we know, that we don't know any motive yet. But the big thing about this is, and the reason why, I mean, me and John don't like also talking about it, it feeds the algorithm, and then that's all you're going to see. And that just pushes people to have more gun control when they're not actually focusing on the problem. The problem's never been the gun. It's never been the gun. It's always been the person. And we have terrible mental health issues in this world, especially for 14-year-olds. Think about it. These kids were out of school for 3 years. 3 years left to their own devices. And at that point in time, social media was so delusional for so long. We have no idea what this kid is. And even if we find out, I don't even know if I believe it, because we've been misled so many times. We were just misled about the Trump, stuff. So I don't even want to say the word on here because we might get kicked off on it. But we were misled with that. They said that it was the sniper. There was only one sniper that took a shot. Then we found out that it was local, and there's just a lot of misleading stuff. So I don't.
And we'll talk a little bit more about the safety part of it later on in this episode. So make sure you stay tuned the whole way through. This might be a little bit of a longer one, guys, but stay tuned because we're going to be talking in the watch list segment a little bit about that. But Don, to your point on misleading stuff, Jason Aldean was on Tucker Carlson today, and first and foremost, I'm a huge Jason Aldean fan. I know you're not kind of that far into the country scene, so to speak, but
I'm more into outlaw country.
Yeah, you're the grunge outlaw country guy.
Yeah.
But I'm a country loving backwoods fucking fool, and I absolutely love Jason Aldean. I've seen him in concert many, many times. I love him and his wife. They are good conservative people. And obviously Jason Aldean is a huge Trump supporter. He has a good friendship with Donald Trump. So they talked about that a lot. They got a little bit into a topic that you and I are going to delve into here in the coming months, which is the Route 91 Fest. And so that's kind of what brought us into this, was misleading information. And, it's been, about 6 years, I believe, since that happened. Yeah, 6
Mhm.
years, 7 years. And yeah, 6 years, I believe. And to this day, the public and Jason Aldean said they don't know the details on what really happened. Um, leave leave a comment down below if you guys really want us to dig in on this, and I'm gonna push you a certain way here. You really, really want us to dig in on this.
Yeah.
Um, I texted Don last night and I said, dude, we got to talk about something. And he was like, what? I said, we got to talk about Route 91 Fest. And he's like, really? What about? And I sent him one of the documentaries I had been watching, and it is some deep, deep shit.
I mean,
Some
we've talked to me and John have talked about this, for a little while,
casually, yeah.
casually in the past, and both of us agree that there's some. I'll just say this, and then we can move on. The ATF lost every single one of those guns that shooter supposedly had. They're lost, nowhere to be found. And then that's what started the bump stock case. So
Yeah.
if that tells you anything, you can see where we're probably going to end up going.
There
with
was no
this.
bump stock used.
Yeah, none.
There was no bump stock used. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
Moving on. So I know a lot of people that probably watch this don't have these devices in their homes because they're afraid of spying, and they're probably right. My house is filled with Amazon Alexa devices and then the GOOGLE devices. I can't actually say it because all the devices will start going off around me. They did the last time when we talked about the company. But so there was a video posted I saw it on Instagram. I believe it started on TikTok, if I recall. And there was this guy, and he was asking Alexa why he should vote for Donald Trump. And Alexa responds that she can't do that because she's not allowed to give political opinions.
Advice. Yeah.
So then the guy asks why he should vote for Kamala Harris, and Alexa goes into this diatribe on her policies and about health and this and that and the other, and like almost spitting out Dem talking points is really what it was.
That's exactly what it was, because I tried it this morning and it was still working, because I actually didn't see that video. I saw a girl talk about it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try that. I gotta try this like ASAP. I would say it right now, but same thing. But yeah, I tried it this morning and it worked. And then I saw after that everybody was like, oh, it doesn't work anymore. So I guess they hurry up and changed it real fast.
So did you see the other two questions that were asked? I don't know if this girl did it or not.
That's the only question I saw asked.
So then the guy says, why should I not vote for Donald Trump? And Alexa goes on a diatribe of all the bad things that people say about Donald Trump.
And most of it's not true, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it was kind of overview of topics, but yeah.
Talking points.
Yeah. And then he asks, why should I not vote for Kamala Harris? And it gives the same response it gave for the initial Donald Trump question. It says, I cannot give that, kind of
political
information.
Advice.
Yeah. So obviously Congress caught on to this real quick. And basically said, like, Amazon, we got some questions. Yeah. And Amazon came out and said, oh, it was just a glitch, blah, blah, blah. We all know that's not fucking true. Look at the 4 questions that were asked and look at the responses. Like, you got caught, and they, like you said, they immediately fixed it. Like, it's like today it was fixed, because I tried it on my device later today and it didn't work. But this is how far they're willing to go. They will literally program something that is supposed to be basically non-programmable, right? I mean, these devices are supposed to just scour the internet and give you information back. They're not supposed to be preloaded with a disposition towards anything. Well, that we know that's not true. And this is where we get into the topic of AI, Don.
Yeah.
Where if we let the Democrats continue to run these types of organizations, AI will no longer be AI.
Yeah, and we said, hey, that is the prime definition of election interference.
Yes.
Just like what Twitter did when
Well,
they removed the Hunter Biden laptop. That was election interference. That is election interference
but
right
well,
there.
let's just say that it wouldn't. It's not election interference. What it is a failure of an organization to announce that their programs and their processes are supporting a candidate. So, like, if Amazon had come out and said, hey, we support Kamala Harris, and after the responses by Alexa, it would have said, this company endorses and has donated to blah, blah, blah. Then it's absolutely fine because it's a private company and they can do what they wish. However, they didn't do any of that. So it goes into exactly what Don was saying, which is then does become election interference.
Yeah.
It's scary. Don, I know you haven't delved too far into this. You and I had this conversation months and months and months ago about AI, and I was telling you how I was using it for certain things. And there are some things that you can try to ask AI to do, and it won't do it. It won't give you the information that you want because it says the same thing that Alexa was saying about, like, I don't give political opinions, blah, 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 this and that, which is also frightening because that means that there's outside influence telling these AI bots what they can and can't say.
Yep.
So it's not artificial intelligence anymore. It's human-led intelligence.
It's them being programmed.
Yeah, it's a programmed intelligence. It's not any different than a human being that's been fed information from a book that was partisan. It's no different than that.
Yeah.
Scary shit though, man.
Yeah, it's wild, bro. Absolutely insane.
Our boy Chucky Schumer got a little mad today.
I seen that.
Child's Play Chucky. I forgot his nickname for a second. Child's Play Chucky got a little upset because the Republicans want to put national voter ID in place, and they are attaching it to a spending bill. Which, hey, I'm not the biggest fan of earmarks, but I think it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, but you got to remember this. The Democrats refuse to make it in the the SAFE Act.
Yeah.
And the SAFE Act, they absolutely refuse. So SAFE Act, if you guys don't know what it is, it went through Congress, it passed, and what that makes sure of is that you have a voter ID when you go vote. If you do not have an ID, you cannot vote. Okay? It has to be a state issued ID, right? You have to be from America. You have to be a citizen in order to get that state ID. That's how it was supposed to be. Passes through Congress, Democrats, beep, killed the bill quick. So Republicans are playing the exact same game that Democrats do, and they basically just try to slide it in with their spending bill.
And I love it. And Chucky did not like it. And for the life of me, I think they're so misplaced. Like, I wish I could talk to a Democratic strategist and be like, this is not the thing that you guys want to, like, this makes you look dumb as shit. Like,
no, because
you're basically announcing that you're fine with people that shouldn't be voting.
Yeah, but their voters are stupid. That's the problem. Their voting base is so stupid, and they're so good at manipulating it. If you listen to them talk about it, they'll be like, they do the whole racist hokey pokey thing.
Oh, of course.
Where it's like, well, no, because these poor black people, they can't afford to get an ID. Just like, what's her name? Whenever Nancy Pelosi, these poor black people can't get, or no, it was AOC, can't get, computers. They don't know how to use computers to be able to register for an ID. And it's like, this is 2024, dude. I'm a 30. Well, I'm not even going to tell you how old I am. I'm in my 30s. I'm a grown ass man. And everybody that I know that's younger than me is better than me on a computer. Okay.
Yes.
And it doesn't make a difference if you're black, white, Asian, fucking yellow.
Every single
green.
one of them's better than me.
They're all better. Okay. So if I can do it, motherfucker, all of you can. So they try to throw that whole racist bullshit in there, and you don't realize it because you've been so brainwashed, not realizing how racist that is. Basically, you're telling somebody, hey, black guy, you're too stupid in order to get on a computer, in order to register to vote. So we're going to make it where you don't need that. And it's like, that is racist. That is absolutely racist.
It is very, very racist.
Yeah.
Speaking of technology, we said it on our live the other day, but we are looking for a producer who wants to be a part of the Liberty Goons. We are looking for our Jamie.
Yeah.
We're looking for our Jamie. So if anybody has this kind of ability and is willing to join a bunch of ragtag, raw and unfiltered assholes like us, shoot us a DM over on Instagram at Liberty Goons. We'd love to chat with you.
Yeah, Jamie 2.0, hit us up.
Yeah, Jamie 2.0, or as Angry Sarge calls his guy, I have a nerd.
Yeah, we need a nerd.
We need a nerd. So I know you're not super into this, Don, but did you hear about Ricky Pearsall, the wide receiver from the Niners, getting shot?
Yep, I saw that. Yeah, and he walked out, right?
Yeah, the guy got shot too.
Yeah.
So this guy stood up for himself. So props to you, Ricky Pearsall, for just not rolling over and giving up your Rolex watch, I believe is what was the antagonist of it all. But yeah, so he gets shot. And I only bring this up, on our podcast just because I think it speaks to the depravity of San Francisco and to the Bay Area. And I'm sorry for all the good people that live in that area. I'm
sure there's 5 of you.
This is not necessarily about you. It is in the fact that like you guys keep voting in these politicians that fucking destroy your city and your area and your state. But it's disgusting there. I went to San Francisco I believe it was last year sometime. I can't remember. I went to Oakland. Oh God, it was so bad. We were opening up a restaurant there at the time, and it was just god freaking awful of an area. I stayed in downtown San Francisco, which used to be beautiful. I went probably maybe 20 years ago, and it was really beautiful there. Not anymore. It is like slums. It is bad. It's really bad. But I just wanted to give a gold star to Ricky Pearsall for standing up for himself.
Yeah. Kudos to you, brother.
Your friend, Liz Cheney.
Oh, not my friend.
Your friend. Anytime there's a Democrat, I call him Don's friend. I don't know why. Don's friend, Liz Cheney.
Definition of rhino, and this is what we were talking about at the beginning of this.
Yeah. Thank God she doesn't have office anymore.
She got fucking mopped.
Yeah, she got
mopped in midterms, bro.
She endorsed your other friend.
Of course.
Jacqueline Kamala.
Yeah, of course she did, because she's a communist. Like,
is this a surprise to anyone? Like,
no.
Should this even be in the news segment, or is this just like, yeah, we should have figured that happened?
Dude, I have a friend who is from the country, and he's Southern, and he moved to Atlanta, and all of a sudden he's like, he's a black dude, but he's like, all of a sudden all wrapped up into all this stuff, and he's like, well, this Cheney's voting for her, so that just shows you like a Republican can't. I'm like, bro,
Liz Cheney was also on the January 6th committee.
Yeah, but he doesn't know anything. This is the problem. People that don't know anything, and then they get their news information from sound bites or things like C-SPAN or like CNN, and they're getting news clips from like TikTok or Instagram. They're idiots, like absolute idiots. I'm like, when's the last time you watched a congressional hearing? If you haven't watched a congressional hearing, like, you probably shouldn't vote. And that's my personal opinion. You probably shouldn't vote because you don't know what's going on.
You don't know what they're saying.
You have no idea. So you're voting for these people that have implemented stuff that's destroying where you live, and you don't even realize it, but yet you're still going out and voting for them because you like the talking points, not realizing what those bills have nothing to do with those talking points. Like, those bills have to, some of them do, but for the vast part of it is them fucking you left and right on financials that you have no
Yep.
idea about are dragging us into other wars or insane laws to destroy your freedom, or like the Patriot Act when everybody was on top of that, then they re-signed into the Patriot Act, and I could go on and on and on forever and ever about all this stuff, but
God bless the people of Wyoming for
yeah.
not reelecting this fucking nutso.
Yep. 100.
Do you remember the picture that came out? It was a couple months ago, I believe now, of the Navy commander on a ship with a rifle in his hand, and
Backwards.
he had the scope on backwards. A lot of people were making fun of the way where he had the buttstock at, and honestly, I actually shoot really high like that too. Like my buttstock ends up going up over my shoulder a little bit. Like I only have probably like the bottom 1/3 is touching my shoulder because I shoot really high, so I didn't have a problem with that. But the fucking LPVO being on backwards was like fucking hilarious. Well, guess what? That guy's been fired for that.
That's crazy.
And I can't even say anything in his defense. Like,
But you know what it is that those people, like, people don't realize it. So, like, generals and all that shit that are in the military, they'll do photo ops all the time.
he has probably not held a gun in forever.
Yeah. The last time he probably actually picked up a real gun and probably even shot was when you had to pass basic through with fucking iron sights.
Or maybe as like a first lieutenant if he was in a like a battle squadron or something. You know?
Yeah, bro. Like literally, and we're talking, and when you start getting into like high up generals that are like politicians, basically, those idiots have no idea when it comes to weapons at all. Like none, zero.
No. And
It's
that was
just
like a newer model LPVO too, so it's not even like something he would have even used in his heyday. But yeah, that motherfucker got fired.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't think any of these generals, all of these high up generals right now, I don't even think should be generals, period. That's my personal opinion.
A lot of them.
You are a politician. You should have nothing to do with the American military at all, period. Like, you should not be doing anything political or political favoring towards any side. I don't care, even conservatives.
Yep.
Your whole goal is to protect the Constitution. And these motherfuckers have not tried to protect the Constitution. 20 years of fucking GWAT will fucking show you that shit. So,
yes, it will.
So if we haven't learned our mistakes now, we might not ever fucking learn them. But
yeah, and the problem is, we're starting to get some of these admirals and generals and stuff that they come from a different time. When I was in, I will say that like there was a lot of generals that I didn't care for. Like I thought, I don't know, I just didn't like them. But very rarely was it because of some kind of political stance or woke ideology or anything like that. Like ours was always just because like they made us do some dumb shit or something, like it was actually more hatred of just like the officer class in general. It had nothing to do with like this guy being a total fucking tard, but now it's just like you said, it's completely different. It's just completely different.
They're all a bunch of fucking idiots, and they're all getting major fucking checks outside of the military. So,
well, especially when they get out.
Yeah, they've all been bought and paid for. These people have done absolutely nothing to get their rankings. I mean, I will fight to the end over that shit. We don't have any more General Pattons, brother.
No.
That's been done and over with.
Speaking of the military, Don and you and I, have been talking about Turkey and how I think personally that Turkey is a greater existential threat in the Middle East and to the United States than a lot of the other countries that we are sticking our ugly noses into. And this week, it reared its ugly head. and there were videos going around on social media of 2 U.S. Marines that got attacked on the streets of Turkey. One was had his head like bagged. I think it was like a jacket, but still like this thing put over his head. His buddy jumps in to help him out because they're fucking Marines, and he gets attacked too. And now the whole crowd turns on them. Unfortunately, the video kind of stops there, so you don't get to see like fully what happens. This is what other countries think to us. They're yelling, you know, "Die Yankees, go home," and all this kind of crap. It's a problem.
Big time.
And it's a problem that only somebody like Donald Trump can fix. He was on the Lex Friedman podcast this week, and you know, Lex Friedman is Lex Friedman. I won't go too much further than that, but he asked him, you know, what's your tactic with these countries? Is it, you know, diplomacy, or is it big stick? You know, and Donald basically said, like, most of the time the bigger stick works better. And this is the type of situation where it's got to be the stick. You know, you can't have U.S. Marines that were probably stationed in Incirlik or one of the bases there or whatever, that were just out enjoying walking around town, and they get mobbed because everybody knows we ain't gonna do shit about it.
Yeah, no, that's the problem all over the world. All over the world, we look like shitbags, so everybody thinks that they can fuck with Americans, and even in our own country now, because Kamala Harris has let in 20 million illegal immigrants, and you see things like Colorado, where they're just, Venezuelans are taking over entire apartment complexes, and the governor is a fucking piece of dog shit fucking Democrat and doing absolutely nothing about it, to where so much that even there's talk about the Hell's Angels even like coming to like stop all their bullshit that's going on.
I don't know how much truth there is in that.
The internet's. I feel like the Hell's Angels, every time something's going on, they're supposed to be there.
Well, and the one report I read was like the Hell's Angels and the Mongols are going to Colorado. First of all, the Hell's Angels and the Mongols aren't doing shit together.
That would never happen.
That is not happening. Go watch videos of Laughlin, Nevada. Type Mongols and Hell's Angels, Laughlin, Nevada, and you tell me if those two motherfucking groups are going to do shit together.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, that was kind of just in there for good laughs, but
I love it, Don.
the big, yeah, I see it on social media. I'm just like dying. I'm like, sure, but the thing about it really is that these people have infiltrated our country now, and they're screaming death to America in rallies. And this has all been by design. It is literally to crush the country from within, because in 10 years, when these people, keep fucking procreating, there is going to be no America left.
Yep.
That's it. It's done.
I agree.
It's a wrap. American values are done. People say that American doesn't have culture. Fuck, are you kidding me? We're the only country left with culture. We have culture because of this right here, well, wherever it is here, and because of the fucking flag right there. That's why we have it. We have a constitutional republic, the only country in the entire fucking world that gives us rights and tells the government to fuck off. So
amen.
We have the biggest culture in America, and it's dying because we let fucking shitbag communists like Kamala Harris and fucking Walz and these fucking retard governors from these liberal left-wing states take over. And until we stop that, we're in bad fucking trouble, brother. We are
in bad trouble. Speaking about the flag behind me, this is not a AI generated flag. This is that's an actual 8x10 flag. I've gotten a few DMs asking me if the flag behind me was like a, what do they call those things, like a background screen or whatever.
Background screen. It kind of does look like a background screen.
It's an actual flag, guys. Um, so something that you brought up to me, and I had read a little bit on, but obviously not into as much detail as you had, is once again, this is the third time now we've talked about this on the podcast in a different way. Russian disinformation.
Oh my god.
So Don and I brushed up on this right before the episode here just to make sure we were talking the right shit. Because we never know what to hear or believe or like whatever it comes to any of this shit. So basically the feds are sanctioning Russia again for meddling in the election, and they've named a company number one, which is a company called Tenet. I believe was it Tennessee? I believe
Yeah.
it was out of Tennessee.
Tennessee.
That the Russians had gotten this company or created this company to pay influencers to talk about certain topics or believe certain things. And it was some big names. Two of the names I read on there were Benny Johnson and Tim Pool from Timcast. Now, there's no accusation that Timcast, Benny Johnson, or any of them knowingly were corrupted by the Russians.
They don't even know what was even specifically said. Nothing.
No.
Like there's no information. There's no real details on it. They're just stating, hey, this company. It was more based on this company, how it was stated at this company, and some influencers. Essentially, is how it was stated. At least whenever the news came on. I don't know if they did more than that on it, but
well, so I'm sure what happens is to kind of give you guys an insight onto how some of this stuff works, whether it's the podcast game that we live in or the gun tube world that I live in under 2A Patriot Ranch, or any of these guys, we all fall into this category where a lot of times we work through agents. And agents are either trying to get us to talk about a subject or to get us to talk about a brand or a product or whatever.
Music too.
Yeah, music as well in your world. Mm-hmm. Generally, at least in like my world and at least on here for the Liberty Goons, we're not getting presented with information to talk about it all. But in the world of these guys like Timcast and Benny Johnson and things like that, they're in the market of talking about these topics at a higher level. And maybe when Liberty Goons gets a little bit bigger, we'll start to see that as well. But what I'm assuming happened here, and this is assumption, I don't know, because there's not a whole lot of detail out right now from the stuff that Don and I like quickly read earlier. What I'm assuming is that there was material that was presented to these influencers, and the material, unbeknownst to them, was influenced by the Russians.
Yeah, but that doesn't, just to be clear, that doesn't mean shit, because our government fucking lies and is filled with fucking propaganda anyways. Like, extremely full of fucking propaganda. We don't even know if it's not propaganda coming from the government saying that these people got fed shit because it's an election year and they want to be like, oh, look over here while this hand's doing something over here,
Exactly. So. And I'm just explaining what they are talking about, not necessarily that it's truthful.
Yeah.
Just what it's talking about. So, Tim has put out a statement. Benny Johnson has put out a statement. I love both those guys. Get a lot of information from those guys. It's unfortunate if it did happen the way that it's being said that it happened. It's even more unfortunate if it's like what Don was just talking about, where it's,
I'm probably leaning more on my side of probably what happened.
Disinformation of disinformation.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that. I don't even know how many fucking levels you can go down now.
That's how politics works.
And I think, Don, you brought up a good point to me earlier when we were talking about this, which is what's her name? Old Scarecrow Hochul up in New York. Her top aide gets busted as a Chinese agent, and then all of a sudden, to get off the news cycle, this happens today.
Yeah. So Kathy Hochul, now we know that they were influenced by all these Chinese and getting paid off by Chinese communists in order to implement laws. And now it's like, oh no, we gotta push that on the rug. Actually, it's over here. Now look over here. And that's what I'm saying. It's a play of hands. It's I don't trust the government at all on any of that shit. The government had no choice but to arrest that woman because she got caught red-handed in a big way. If you here's the difference. There's no details,
None.
no fine details on the opposite side when it comes to the Russian disinformation. There's very fine details of what was going on with Kathy Hochul. So that's why I always say it's a play of hands. I'm not saying that maybe it happened the way that they're saying that it happened. Who knows? I have no clue, but I don't trust anything.
That's the problem. We have no clue.
Yeah, and you should never believe anything the government says. Just like if that was the case, we already talked about this in the beginning. Trump, you would have thought that sniper took him out and was the only person to shoot, and that was not the case. So,
add that to our. If you're keeping count out there, add that to our list of nicknames. Scarecrow Hochul.
Yeah. Old Scarecrow. Yeah, man. And then it's even crazier because talking about that as well. I mean, even with X, bro.
Yeah, so I guess it's time for that now.
Yeah.
It is time for trigger warning. I'm gonna let you take this one.
No,
you never take the trigger warnings.
Okay, okay. So I'll start off with trigger warning. Then that's fine. So trigger warning today. It's gonna be the X ban, right? So in case you guys don't know this, here recently, I guess for maybe the past couple of years now, Elon Musk has been a big component of freedom of speech, which has been extremely helpful for us because every news media outlet is filled with propaganda and has basically shut every conservative speech down. That whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, we can get into that too. The CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News has so many Democrats that are on Fox News because the way that Fox News is owned. But yeah, I mean, it's just filled with propaganda. And here comes Elon Musk giving people freedom of speech again. And what happens? Well, Brazil.
They don't like him.
They don't like him. So much because if you guys don't know, the new Brazilian, I guess, prime minister there or president is a communist. You can see him. He's wearing the hammer and sickle. He's got tons of pictures with hammer and sickle, all that stuff.
I mean, Elon's pictures and memes have been fantastic.
It's been hilarious, dude. And Elon Musk might be like the funniest like nerd on the planet.
Yeah, the funniest non-funny guy on the planet.
Yeah, I don't even think he's trying to be funny. It's just so wild.
It's so wild. So he went through, it's been going through the court system there, and it's basically been reaffirmed multiple times, and then finally, it was either this morning or last night, I can't remember now. The Supreme Court of Brazil basically said, "Yep, no X in this country."
Yeah. So,
and why it's important and why we should be concerned is this is exactly where we're headed in this country if we allow the government to start regulating speech online.
Yeah.
And you guys might think that is fear-mongering. We've talked a lot about fear-mongering on this show. That's not fear-mongering. We just had one of the world's largest countries ban a social media platform that allows free speech.
Yeah.
Think about that. Think about that. And guess what? Don brought up a very good point to me earlier is we're very, very close to seeing that happen in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
We talked weeks ago about, the Met police chief basically saying, like, we're going to hunt people down and arrest them in other countries.
Yeah, we're coming for you, Americans.
Yeah, we're coming for you. So if you think that this is not where it's going to head in our country,
You're crazy.
you're crazy. A massive, massive country in this world banned one of the most popular social media platforms in the world.
And,
Name the other countries that do that.
Yeah, not even
China, Russia.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Well, here's the thing. What I meant by saying not even Russia. If you at the UK for the UK, right, and England right now, I think that their arrest is something like 6,500 people that they've arrested.
Wow.
For social media. For social media in Russia, it's 300.
Yeah, the rest of them just die, though.
Yeah, that's true too. But I mean, that's how close you're getting to
straight communism.
And then here's the wild part. If you guys really want to get into this, so the president,
I don't think our listeners have a choice. Yeah. You're gonna get into it.
I'm getting into it anyways, whether you want to hear it or not. So if you guys look at Brazil, okay, so Brazil had a very conservative president. That president cleaned up Brazil like crazy. Yep. I mean, he went in through the favelas and wrecked the favelas with all the gangsters that were in there, all the, cartel members. I mean, he just ate their lunch, brother, and made it legal to every single person in that country. You could now buy a gun. And what did that do? It stopped the crime rate by 65%. 65%. Yep. They come in, and I think, and I'm not saying this, YouTube, I'm not saying that that they did. Don't ban us. I believe that election was 100% stolen. If you guys go back and watch it, the videos are still up on YouTube. You can see the largest crowds you have ever seen in your entire life trying to protest this new communist leader from coming in. Well, you put in a commie, like if you put in freaking Kamala Harris, this is the type of stuff that you get. You get your freedom of speech banned, and then you end up like Cuba. Or you end up like Venezuela. So,
yeah, I mean, that's exactly the road that you're going down. When
I don't want to say Venezuela. Let me refrain from that. Venezuela's cleaned up a whole lot because they've kicked all their bad people out. So I meant Argentina. My apologies.
Yeah, but they just sent them to us, so I don't think that really counts.
Yeah, that's true. They just pawned it off on us.
But yeah, you have now, like you said, you have De Silva, who I agree with you, basically stole the election in Brazil, who replaced Bolsonaro.
Yeah, Bolsonaro.
This is what you get. This is exactly what you get. And if you think that electing I mean, I have no problem saying it, that people like Kamala Harris, they're communists.
Yeah.
They're not democratic socialists. They're fucking communists.
Yeah.
And this isn't the 1960s anymore where I'm like saying, fear the commies. What I'm saying is, this is the kind of road that we lead down. Think about what the Nazis did in Nazi Germany. It's the same shit. It's the same fucking playbook.
Yeah. I mean,
stop people from talking, take their weapons, only put people in power of a certain demographic.
Yeah.
And control.
Well, look what the Brazilian president did. He took another ban on guns, and then now he's going after freedom of speech.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's a textbook thing. And guess
Hitler
what?
did that too. That's exactly what Kamala Harris is trying to do, because she's saying,
exactly,
hey, we need to get rid of these public forums because of disinformation. And, oh, by the way, we're also going to come from all your guns in the first 100 days. So we're going to try to take your guns first, and then we're going to just go ahead and disband everything, and you're not going to have any freedom of speech. And then these people rule for 100 freaking years until the country's just gone to complete shit, and then you're a third world country before it's all said and done.
Yeah, because the next step after the speech and the guns is to devalue currency.
Yep.
How do you devalue currency? Well, we're seeing it right now. Inflation, control wages, control working class Americans, hand off jobs to foreigners. All of this stuff starts to devalue currency. Well, if you don't,
that's on her platform, by the way, is to
oh
have
yes, I'm reading stuff straight from, well, not
yes,
reading because her platform's not on her website.
but
Still,
that's that's on her actual platform. Which, if you look up what communism does, it is
it's
exactly
this.
that.
I'm literally verbatim talking about Kamala Harris and how that's exactly what Hitler did. And you know, the funniest thing about this all is that the left has been calling Trump Hitler, yet all the policies of the left describe exactly how Hitler rose to power.
Yeah.
And how the Nazis took over. It's crazy.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's weird to me, and I said this before, like, they're no longer Democrats. They're a mixture between socialist, communist, and fascist, all put together, which is absolutely terrifying.
Yep. And the last thing that they have to do, well, it's not the last thing, it actually comes about middle of the way, is to cut off a segment of their population.
Yep.
So obviously with Hitler, it was the Jews, and with this new regime of Kamala Harris and her left ideologist friends, it's cutting off middle-class Americans, and specifically white middle-class Americans.
Well, you see that, and Christianity.
And white middle-class Christian Americans.
Yep.
And good point there. And this is textbook, guys. And you know what? You know, the problem is I say it's textbook. Who knows what the fucking kids' textbooks are saying? And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But who fucking knows? I actually want to go find out. I'm gonna make that my my research topic for a couple weeks from now, is to see if I can go get a current textbook.
I would like to pick up a kid's history book now.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
like 4th, 5th grade history book. I mean, from like a perfect place would be like Pennsylvania, or like you're going to be in New Jersey.
Yep.
See, dude, you should get one. Try to pick up 2. We'll fucking read it and see what it looks like, because I'm so curious now.
I want like what do they call it when I was in school? Now I can't remember. What did they call like history class in school?
History.
Yeah, it was fucking called something else where I was from.
Social studies?
Social studies, yeah. Mm-hmm. Social studies. So I want to pick up a teenage social studies book, you know, where you really start to get into the nitty gritty of things, you know, because when you were younger, you talked about topics in general. You started forming the mind a little bit, but then you really got into like the political side of it and the deep division side of it. When you got into high school.
Yeah.
I want that. I'm going to get us a textbook. I'm moving somewhere up north in Pennsylvania. I'm not going to say where because I don't want to give them a heads up. But I'm going to get those textbooks.
Yeah.
Or at least find out what textbooks they are doing and order them. That way I don't get like kicked off a fucking campus or something. No, I don't need that happening. Because I want to find out. So guys, this trigger warning was about X getting banned in Brazil, but as you can see, this isn't even a rabbit hole that Don and I went down. This was an intentional process of what happens when you allow this shit to go on.
Yep. That's exactly what it is, brother.
Like, take away the guns, stifle free speech, control a portion of the population, devalue the currency,
control wages.
If that is not what the leftist platform is right now, I don't know what is.
Yep, that's it. Hey, well, like it's, you know, like they say, the scariest thing you can say is, "Hey, we're the government. We're here to help," and that's how they get you to bite for these things. That's literally
We're
it.
the government, and we're here to help.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what they're doing. Is they're saying, well, look, we can control these wages and then we can pay you a little bit more. But what they're not telling you is, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to increase, inflation's going to go up another 10%.
And we're going to tax you.
And then we're going to tax the shit out of you for it.
So you're not going to make any more money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll give you free healthcare. No worries. Now you can't see a doctor because they're not telling you we're not a country with 2 million people in it. We're a country with 340 million fucking
What are you
people in
talking
it.
about, Don? You can keep your doctor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can keep your doctor.
You can keep your doctor.
We've already heard this before, remember? And Americans are so stupid that Democrats are the dumbest people. They bitch about all the Democrats, and then they go right back around and vote for fucking Democrats. They're stupid. That's
fucking dumb.
It's
fucking dumb.
It's dumb. Like, I don't even feel bad for calling these people stupid anymore. They're stupid.
No, you can't feel bad. And like I said, like I opened this off with, this is why no compromise is the only solution right now.
Yep.
We cannot compromise on our principles, because when you look at these policies, it is a recipe for disaster. And I know people talk about like the downfall of democracy and they're here to kill this. Don just laid this out for you in layman's terms, what this means. Like, you just use hyperbole and say, they're going to be bad for America and all that kind of stuff. We laid out the platform. Yep. Take the guns, take the speech, control the population, devalue the currency. There it is.
Yep.
That's it for you.
Yeah. I mean, look, dude, I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States, our to the United States of America and to the
Republic.
Yep. For which it stands.
To the Republic.
For which it stands. Right. So, I just don't understand this whole democracy thing, dude. Like, I'm sorry, I just got a text message from somebody, and they were actually sending me something talking about this exact same thing. Shout out to Hayden. But yeah, it's wild to me, dude. This whole democracy thing it's all bullshit. It's all propaganda. We are not a socialistic country. Democracies, socialism, communism, the list goes on. We're playing with too many ideologies at this point, and until we have to say, like John said, no,
yep.
Enough is
no more
enough.
Compromise. We are a constitutional republic, and what that means, that we are a republic that is based on a constitution, a set of values, a set of values that were established when this nation was proud and strong and ready to build. That's what we live in. We live in a constitutional republic.
Yep.
Guys, this is not let's all get together and vote on every fucking topic. That's not what we're about. The reason we don't have to do that is because we have a core foundation, because we have the Constitution. We don't need to be a democracy. The Constitution tells us what we're going to do and how we should live and the rights that we have that can't be taken from us.
Yep.
Wake up. Fucking wake up. No compromise, man.
We need to make sure it's no compromise, bro. No compromise.
That's the next shirt coming out. I'm writing it down right now. No compromise.
No compromise.
No fucking compromise. I don't know how my blood pressure is going to handle as we get closer to this fucking election.
I know. Heighten emotions, what we talked about last week.
My coworkers always used to make fun of me because you can immediately tell when I get fired up because my face gets red. Like immediately. And everybody always thinks like it was an embarrassment thing for me, and I'm like, no, if you see my face red, I'm fucking mad.
Yeah.
I get mad. You can see it right now. I'm mad. No fucking compromise. That t-shirt's gonna come out. I'm gonna get it done. All right, let's talk about another topic that's gonna get us all fucking fired up again.
You guys ready for this? This is the watch list. Today, I have on the watch list the United States of America's school system. All right. This is the reason why we're putting this on here for him. The school system. Let's see here. Man, where do we even begin? We can jump in from one, the failure to educate.
Let's jump in right there. Failure to educate.
Failure to educate. We are no longer, and we haven't been for quite some time, even in the top 10 of countries on education anymore. And we are fastly vastly declining even in that. Especially think about this: 3 years we had COVID, right? And all these Democrat states, they basically turned around and said, "Hey, no school." So what did they do? They threw people on Zooms. Most of these kids didn't show up to Zoom. They didn't learn anything, and now you even have a bigger educational, barrier from where they should have been now than what we've ever had in this country. Um, and man, the woke ideologies that they're spewing out is what they'd rather teach you than things like math, history, English, and you can see it. Have you talked to a 13-year-old? Do you have a 13-year-old kid out there right now? They sound like idiots, like absolute fucking idiots. And it's not their fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. I'm looking at you. And why it's your fault is because you've allowed them to educate your kids and run and dictate over society for way too long because of people that you voted in, of not showing up at those school events, not showing up for your kids. And you've allowed these teachers to come in and infiltrate and fucking rot the minds of your own kids. And I'll let you hop into another one, but that shit right there just irritates the fuck out of me, man.
So this has been happening for quite some time. This whole failure to educate thing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna loop two of them in together here: a failure to educate and a failure to hold accountability to our students. And this happened when we got away from standardized testing.
Yep.
Where, just to catch everybody up, standardized testing is very simple. It's probably what most of you are used to. You know, you go to school, you learn a topic, you take a test, like your SATs or whatever it is, and you have questions and you have answers.
Well, there's state tests. There's state tests at the end of the year. Every year, well, at least whenever I was growing up, there was state standardized testing for whatever state that you lived in, and that was supposed to tell you, hey, this state has this many people at this, reading level or, math level or so on and so forth. And we just don't give a fuck about that anymore.
No. So what we've done now is we've switched to a type of testing that takes in people's skill level and environment and all this other stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with actually learning. It doesn't have anything to do with learning. And here's the problem: is we did that to solve the problem of schools that were not held to a certain standard. So instead of fixing the school system, instead of fixing the teachers, instead of fixing the class content, instead of doing all those things, we decided, well, let's just change the test so we start to get the answer that we want, thinking that that's going to help our children. Well, no, because now we're failing to educate. And what standardized test did is exactly what Don was talking about. It put everybody on an equal playing field and said, this is what our students are learning and retaining right here. There were some schools that were below. There were some schools that were above. Great on those schools. You're always going to have some schools that overachieve and they hire the right people at the right time. They do a little bit better or whatever. But instead of taking a look at that and saying, okay, we just need to get the schools that are down here and move them up here, we said, well, let's just factor in a bunch of other things that'll just bring these test scores up right here, because maybe that those people lived in inner city Baltimore where the schools weren't that great, or they didn't have access to computers or whatever it was. And now, instead of fixing the educational problem...
And that was 15 years ago when they started doing that.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's been happening for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's... I'm gonna go out of order of how we're gonna talk about this, Don, just because this is kind of how this fits in. This is why we need to take our school systems out of the federal government's hands.
100%.
Because the Department of Education is the one that started initiating this. Because I can tell you, School A and School B in Texas or Florida or Pennsylvania, that are down the street from each other, they initially weren't comparing their own test scores. They weren't looking at those things and trying to compare themselves to each other. The federal government stepped in and said, "Oh, we gotta do this, and now we gotta fix it." So we need to take the school system out of the federal government. The federal government has no business being involved in education at all.
They shouldn't
At all.
they shouldn't be regulating your children, because that is communism.
Yes.
That's literally what that is. That is communism. They are regulating your children and doing it the way that they want to, without even telling you how they're even educating your child.
Yep. This should be happening at a state and local level. The funding, sure, the federal government can throw the money down the street if they want to, without any strings attached. Hey, each state gets X amount depending on how many students you have, that type of funding or whatever. But the states control the testing, they control the educational platform, they control all of that stuff. And then that way, the people now have control over the education system, because they're voting in the school boards, they're voting in the state Congress and state Senates, they're voting in the people that elect your school superintendents. They're doing all of this. Whereas at a federal level, there are, I don't even know, but let's just throw out a number. There's 10,000 people that work for the Department of Education in the country. Yep. All of those people, you have no idea who they are. The head of the Department of Education that sits on the cabinet is a person that's just put there by the president. These are all unelected bureaucrats that are all deciding what your students learn or how your students are given materials and products in education. It needs to be handled at a local level.
Yeah, and this is exactly why Democrats don't want school choice for, and Republicans keep pushing it.
Yes.
Why? Because, hey, if I'm a parent and I want my kid to have a better education, right? I am going to pick the better school. And I am going to sit back and tell my kid, hey, I'm going to whoop your behind if you don't pay attention in class, because, hey, we purposely moved here for you. We moved you to the school for a reason. And that's what parents did whenever I was growing up. People really took care. They wanted to go to school board meetings. They wanted to know what their kids were teaching. We live in a world where parents don't even give a shit anymore. They've just
and if they do,
they have no options.
And they have to go to school board meetings to shout about co-ed bathrooms and transgender sports issues.
Because it's filled with ideologies instead of education. And then you get hit by the FBI. Then the FBI looks at you as you're a terrorist now, because you wanted to have your kids, in a safe environment in school. And this goes to another thing. I mean, we're just talking about safety in general. That's a whole nother thing. Dude, there's no way that a 5th grade boy should be able to wear a wig and then go into a 5th grade girl's bathroom. Like, that's insane. That allows for so many issues. Not to mention, we don't know who these teachers are. We don't know who hired these teachers, where these teachers came from. They're using those same restrooms. It's not like they're using a different restroom.
No.
And we know for a fact that there's been all types of those that have been in the school systems. We've known this for a really long time. You can go look up how many teachers have been arrested for this.
Oh, I had multiples in my high school.
Tons. Absolutely tons of them. I remember even in my high school, and it wasn't, it was in high school at least, but where, somebody ran off with a teacher and then ended up getting married. These things are not new, but these things are things that need to be paid attention to, and we need to be able to create standardization across the board, and it needs to be from state to state where, hey, this stuff is no longer allowed. Public safety is number one when it comes to students, because these are children. It's not like me and John. Me and John can have a gun on our side and protect ourselves every single day. But that is another thing that needs to happen in schools. There needs to be a public safety officer at every single door with a firearm. Look, where I grew up, nobody was getting into those schools, right? Because at every single door that you could actually physically get into, there was a cop there. All right? A cop with a firearm. And one of them had a rifle every single day. And I didn't go to a ghetto school. I went to a nice school. Very, very nice. Yeah, there was weird things that happened, but there's weird things that happen in every school. Okay, it is what it is.
I mean, the kid today was taken down by a school resource officer.
Yes, a good guy with a gun.
Yep.
And we will have zero. If you look across the board, every single school that allows for a public safety officer to carry a gun, there has been zero school shootings. Zero. None. Like, wake up, liberals. This is important.
And think about the cost involved in this. I heard, gosh, I forget what Fox News commentator it was earlier today, but was discussing, you have a lot of retired police officers that would gladly love to have those positions.
Vets.
Yep. Vets, retired police officers. These guys are, how long's the school day? 6 hours, 7 hours a school day. That's all the time they need to be there. Maybe you have some more at sporting events and stuff like that. But you keep all your doors locked, and at your 3, accessible entrances, to your school, like Don said, you have a school resource officer with a gun. What does that cost your district? What does that cost? Nothing.
Yeah, literally.
It costs nothing.
Literally. Yeah.
Like a lot of these guys would volunteer. I guarantee you.
Do it for free.
Yep. I guarantee you, if each school district put out a message that said, we need vetted and qualified candidates to come and protect our schools, I'd sign up.
Yeah.
I'd go put in some time.
Absolutely.
I have a day job, but I would offer to go do Friday night football games.
Sporting event. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Same here.
Anything that happened after school, I'd gladly go do it. Vet me. Go ahead.
Yep.
We have to provide safety for our kids. It doesn't matter what we do, what rules or legislation we enact outside of the classroom. If we don't protect them where they are, we're in for a world of trouble. Now, I say this. So I've brought up the book 1 Second After a bunch of times on this podcast. That author, William R. Forstchen, he wrote another book called Day of Wrath. And this book details what would happen if all the terrorists that have come across the border act on what they're supposed to do. And you know what they did in this book? They attacked our schools. Because the way to get to Americans is with our children. And so they sent like 3 terrorists into every single school and just started. And the hero, quote unquote, of the story was a teacher who illegally hid a little .38 in his pocket every day when he went to school.
Yep.
And this guy was able to take down these terrorists because he was armed.
Yep. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, we, as society, we've gotten, when my grandfather or even my dad, when they went to school, every single one of those kids had a rifle in the back of their truck.
I was like that when I started school.
Yeah, every single one of them. Not me. Now, I remember my sister's whenever she was in high school, which you're probably closer to my sister's age, because we're not that far apart. But that's when they stopped doing it.
Yeah. So what we had to do when I was in elementary school, when it was hunting season, because a lot of the fathers would take their kids out hunting in the morning and then they'd go to like school right after, is that you had to go and you had to put your shotgun or your rifle in the office.
Makes
when
sense.
You went to class.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, God forbid you even get within 1,000 yards of a school with a gun. Like, it's just not like you can't do it.
I mean, our education system used to teach gun safety.
Yeah.
We used to teach gun safety in actual schools. Like we've gotten so far away from reality, It's crazy. Look, here's the issue. There's bad people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? You can take away every single gun in America. Guess what? There's still bad people in America.
And they're going to do bad things.
Yeah. Whether it's with a gun, whether it's with a knife, whether it's them creating some type of home craft, contraption to do fucking bodily harm. We saw the terrorist in Spain who just went straight down the middle of the street with the freaking vehicle and just mow down people. Okay?
Yep.
They will find a way. Bad people are bad people, and that's what they're going to do. So, like we said before, this is not a gun problem. This is a bad person problem. But even with that being said, we have to quit teaching these woke ideologies in schools, and we have to teach our kids, hey, look, this is wrong, this is right. Now, if they want to change their minds on, later on when I'm 19 years old and I want to put on a wig and act like I'm a female, so be it. But you're not going to go to a bathroom, not in school. Like that is just a playground for all types of just disgusting things to happen to innocent people, innocent human beings. Now, you said this before. This is the playbook out of communism too. And what they did was, I can't remember the guy's name. I'll find it and we can put it down here, and I'll send you guys the video link because I want you guys to watch this. There's a whole video of when a Russian came into the United States. I believe it was in the 70s. And he said, hey, we've already infiltrated your schools. And in 30, 40 years, we've already controlled your whole entire country because we've implemented teachers into your school. And then those teachers or those students are going to grow up and be a little bit more left-leaning. And then those kids have kids, and they go into the school, and they're going to be more left-leaning. And then eventually, they're not going to care about America anymore. They're going to hate America. They're going to hate the ideologies that America has of freedom. And that's exactly where we are now because we've let them infiltrate our schools for too long. The biggest problem with conservative people, women and men, biggest problem is we want to be left alone. And because we've wanted to be left alone for so long, we ignored things and we said, well, it doesn't affect me. I'm just going to turn my shoulder, turn my head, act like it doesn't happen. I'll call you stupid behind your back. I might even call you stupid in front of your face, and I'll just walk off. We have to stop doing that.
Once again, it's time for no compromise.
Yes, which leads us back to the beginning.
So we have a failure to educate, a failure to provide safety.
Mm-hmm.
We have a failure to hold kids accountable.
Yep.
We have woke ideology. Yep. And we have the federal government putting their hands where it shouldn't be. Yep. And that is why our school system is what it is.
Yeah.
And the only way that we're getting out of this is exactly what you said, Don. Everybody has to be on board. We have to let teachers know that it's okay to go to the principal or the guidance counselor or whatever and say, I have this weird kid in my class and he's not okay.
Yeah, it is.
During parent-teacher conferences,
I don't feel comfortable. Tell your parents.
Right. Yep.
And parents, listen up. Listen to your kids. Dude, my sister took all my nephews and nieces out of school. You know why? They went to a school dance event. All right. There was kids that were in the bathroom that were doing all types of crazy shit. And the teachers knew it. And when asked the teachers about it, they said, oh, well, we don't stop them from doing those things. We allow them to be themselves. That is a crazy problem because you're teaching somebody that those types of things are okay. And I don't want to get into it on here because it gets into some really crazy stuff that I don't even want to mention on YouTube. But then my sister started reading their school books and seeing pornographic stuff in their school books.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister said, nope, that's it. Boom, took all the kids out of school. And to this day, and I guess One of them's a freshman. The other one is a junior in high school, and the other one I think is in the 5th grade. Took them all out. Took them all out.
It's not safe.
No, it's not.
It's not safe. And that nothing you said there involved what happened today.
Nothing.
So we want to beat our drums on gun control and this and that. Yet we're failing to protect our kids on a daily fucking basis.
Yep.
We allow their minds to be warped. We allow them to be molested by peas.
Mm-hmm.
We allow all this stuff. And you want to sit there and you want to tell me that the problem with schools in America today is because we don't have gun control? Get the fuck out of here. Your woke ideology, your weird and wacky bullshit that you're putting into our kids' heads and allowing them to be subjected to, not teaching them the true course of history, deleting certain things out of textbooks.
Yep.
Not teaching them what really happened during slavery. Remember 1619?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the fucking problem. Not kids not turning in kids. Teachers not turning in kids that are fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like if your kid is drawing gross depictions in his textbook at school, he should not be allowed to come to school.
Yeah.
Until he gets his shit figured out.
Yep.
Stop normalizing weird shit. And that's what pisses me off about, the left going around calling JD Vance weird and Trump weird and all this shit is like, let's talk about the real weird shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's because they care about families. You see Trump, he tells all his kids, hey, I don't want you to drink. I don't want you to be out late. I don't want you to smoke. I know here I am smoking, but he wants the best for his kids. He wants the best. He wants the best education for them. He wants them to learn respect. All his kids are anytime you talk to somebody that's met his kids, very respectful. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Shake hands, eye contact, the whole 9 yards. That's what you want your kids to be. Not this crazy, hey, my kid thinks it's a cat. Let him be a cat in school. Or, hey, we don't need to do a pledge allegiance to the flag, but yet we're going to allow this rainbow flag or this Palestinian flag or whatever fucking weird flag they decide to fly up in a fucking classroom. This is America. The only flag that should ever be flown is the American fucking flag or the state flag that you live in. That's it.
Yep.
Like the ideologies are so fucking bizarre. It's insane. And JD Vance is a family man. How about we quit calling these people weird and we start calling people that said, hey, it's only neighborly if you're a socialist to be socialist with your neighbors and blah, blah, blah. Like weird. What the fuck does that even mean?
That's weird.
What the fuck does that mean? That's so weird. And it's like, so
balls.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a socialist, or the whole weird thing that Kamala Harris says that which communists, it's literally what communists say, because her father taught a whole entire class on communism, wrote a whole entire class on communism.
Marxism, but yes.
Marxism, which is same shit, but which is what she's spewing out now. And her ideologies are, and that's why she was voted the most left-wing senator that America's ever had when she was in the Senate.
And guess who she appoints?
A left-wing socialist who claims to be a socialist.
She will appoint the head of the Department of Education. And this is why, guys, school system, Department of Education, you've been added to the watch list.
Yep. Yeah, you've been added to the watch list, motherfuckers. Man, that's a hard one to get off of because I feel like we could have been talking about it.
I forced us off of that one because I felt myself like
getting flustered.
Yeah, I got really angry there for a minute, and I apologize for that. No, I don't fucking apologize for that, guys, because you got to wake up, man. you gotta wake up. Like, I don't want to go all Alex Jones on this shit, but like, you gotta wake up to what's going on.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're blinded by, we can't be burdened by what has been, or all this fucking garbly goop that comes out of this bitch's mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
it's insanity.
We're losing, like you just said, we're losing our culture. We're losing what made America great.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the greatest generation.
Yeah.
We're losing the principles that generation was founded upon. The generation that took us through 2 world wars, that put brave soldiers in the rice fields of Vietnam.
Yeah.
That
black brothers on white brothers, and Indian brothers and Asian brothers going to war with each other for the same exact cause. For the same cause.
That won the Cold War.
For that flag right behind John's back.
We're spitting on their legacy. It's not so long ago that Ronald Reagan told Gorbachev to tear down that wall.
Yep.
That was only 36 years ago? I was alive.
And look how fucking communist America became in 36 years.
Speaking of, I want to watch the new Reagan movie.
Me too. And also that one movie about the child.
Oh yeah.
We can't say it on here, so you guys know what I'm talking about. Hopefully,
the new one. I've been seeing all the ads for that.
Apparently, they are telling people in movie theaters that it's sold out, but then like you go in and there's like nobody in there at all.
Really?
Yeah, because they don't want people to see it. They're trying to block it.
Or it's not the movie theaters that are doing it. It's that these motherfuckers are buying up all the tickets to prevent
people from seeing it. Yeah, I mean, they very well could be that too.
God bless that. God bless that studio. I think it's called Angel Studios, right? I think that's what it's called. Yeah. I've been seeing their ads right now. They're really trying to get donations and investments into that studio, and they're the ones that movie too.
You're gonna have
the name of it right now.
You're gonna have to cut that.
Oh yeah, I'll bleep that. Sorry.
Yeah, you can't say that.
I had to bleep it last episode too. It sucks because like I want to be able to open.
We want to be able to say what we want to say, but then we won't even be able to get the video up to you guys. So like we're fighting for freedom of speech too. It's not that we don't want to say it,
because we're talking against the stuff.
Yeah, but we literally can't even say it. This is how communist the world has become. How far left-wing communist America has become, where we can't even say terms when we're speaking illy about something that is so disgusting. We can't even use the term on here. That's how crazy the world is now. So,
yep.
Yeah, man.
We might have to start. You know what? I think we should do that. We'll start with this episode. There's a platform called Grey Hive, guys. I'll start posting all of our episodes over on Grey Hive. You'll be able to catch them unedited, uninterrupted, no bleep outs, none of that stuff. So starting with this episode, if you're watching it right now and you want to know what I just said, I'm sure you know what I just said, but if you want to find out what I actually said, go over to greyhive.com, and you'll find us over there. I'll do that now because fuck that, Don. Fuck that.
I agree, man. Dude. Yeah, dude. We have this year, guys. We have to get our freedoms back in America. We cannot let them keep chipping away at our freedom of speech, our Second Amendment, and our American culture, our values, our Christian values, our just American, we love the flag values anymore. It has to be no fucking compromise.
Yep. Stay tuned. We will launch it on Instagram. I will, within the next week, have a no compromise t-shirt. We would welcome all of you to join the no compromise family, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And I'll say it right here because Don and I talked about it. He doesn't know I'm about to say this, but we talked a little bit about it. We will donate all of the profits from that t-shirt to Gun Owners of America.
Yeah. So that's great. We talked about it for a second. So
Yep.
I 100% think that we should. Yep. So
No compromise. And I'm not trying to
No
profit off of no compromise.
yeah.
We will.
We're not lobbyists where we want to put money into things that we think that give America's value back.
Yep. So if you want to support your country with no compromise, you want to support the Liberty Goons being able to continue what we do, and you want to support Gun Owners of America helping protect your Second Amendment rights, buy a no compromise t-shirt.
Yep. Amen to that, man.
Ooh, what's going on this week for you, Don Welch? How was your Labor Day?
Actually, it was pretty good, dude. I mean, we did a podcast on Saturday, so that was nice. We put that out. We put that out. I have been noticing some weird things here on social media where, I usually throw up gun content on TikTok, and then I put my little cheesy thing on there. This is a fake gun and yada 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 yada. Well, that's like done for because like I'm not even getting a view on TikTok anymore.
No.
And then my stories on Instagram, I got hit with like political something or another, or political hate speech or something that I had posted on there. So then even all those videos, all my stories have like dramatically decreased. That just happened like last week.
I know I need to stop sharing all the stuff that you send me.
Yeah,
it gets me in fucking trouble.
I know. So that killed my stuff. So now I'm like I thought I was doing bad. Now I'm doing really, really bad on there. So if you guys would follow me at Don Welch Music, like my stuff. I mean, we talked about this before. We have to start liking each other's stuff. I see your guys' stuff. I like it. If I see it, I guarantee you I like it. I guarantee you I comment. If I see John stuff, I like it. Every single story that I see from John, I like it.
Yes,
I try to, if I see a post, I try to like, I try to comment because it's the only way to break algorithms and get out real freedom of speech and things that mean stuff to people like us, right? Our core values that we've just been talking about, these American patriotic values, these no compromise, fuck you values that we have. So that's a big thing. But outside of that, man, just to make things on a lighter note, dude, it was awesome. I got to shoot on Sunday. That was
nice.
or on Monday. I mean, I got to shoot on Monday. First time I got to shoot a pistol, and I put down some rounds.
Hell yeah.
Then I shot some rifle. Hey, shout out to Swamp Fox. Tried out their new optic. It was dope.
No blurred starburst.
No blur starburst. A little bit of I will say this. They have a slight fisheye lens, just slight, but I think that's even on the like EOTech and anything that has an etch reticle. I kind of get that. But man, bright dot, dude. Bright and shoot fast.
That was the Swamp Fox Raider, right?
Yep, Swamp Fox Raider. Really like that optic a whole lot. It's a badass optic. So that was fun. And I spent some time with my girl. We about to have a baby. So just looking into little stuff like that, looking through clothes and just living early dad life.
I love it, man. I love it. You know what? Shout out to all the people that do like consistently like all of our stuff. Todd, Angry Sarge, 2A Bourbon, Adam from Whiskey and Windage, Matt from Whiskey and Windage. I'm probably missing some people like that just every single time they like it, they're on the chain of like, let's support each other and let's like that stuff. Like really appreciate you guys for doing that.
Yeah. And he
look at them all.
He named content creators because they're making content. For the rest of you guys that are also liking it, we greatly appreciate you. But we're just saying these content creators have kind of joined. We've all kind of joined together in order to, try to build up the algorithms back for each other.
Yep, exactly. Man, I've got nothing on my plate besides packing up moving boxes for the next 4 days. I move in 4 days. Ah, God, this is scary. 4 days, and I am way far away. As you can see, my studio is still intact.
Let me just
So-
let me just tell you this. I do not envy you one bit, sir, because I have moved like 6 times in like the past 4 years, and I do not want to move again until I'm like moving into a house, bro. So
On a good note, I was able to donate 4 huge trash bags full of clothes to the Breast Cancer Foundation box that is located at the bottom of my building. So that was cool being able to give back. Unfortunately for me, a lot of that stuff still had tags on it. Since I started working out at the gym about 3-4 years ago, like hardcore, I no longer fit into medium shirts anymore. So all of that stuff had to go away because I don't plan on being that small ever again. But yeah, so I will start the trek up north on Monday. Excited.
you ready for the cold?
I don't know.
Man, you're about to hit it in like 2 months, bro.
I have to buy a jacket. I don't own a jacket. For
Oh.
you guys, I have not lived in a cold climate for a very long time. I have not lived within 3 miles of the beach in probably like almost 15, 16 years. And before that, I was in Vegas, so it was hot there too. So I don't even own a fucking jacket.
Dude, I freeze when it's 55 degrees outside. I'm cold as shit. So, and at 55 degrees in the wintertime in Pennsylvania is like, whew, feels great outside.
I took some moving boxes in today for my truck, and it was like 92 in Miami, and I was sweating from my truck to the door. That's how damn hot it was. So I'm not so sure I'm gonna miss that right away. Other than that, man, posted 2 new videos on To a Patriot Ranch this week. Just had one go up today. It is a Glock. It's a Glock video.
I watched a little bit of it, dude. It was cool.
I've never done a Glock video before, but shout out C&H Precision for milling that slide, since it's 2024 and Glock still sells carry handguns without optic cuts in them. So shout out to C&H Precision for milling that slide and for their duty optic. It's an enclosed emitter optic. That thing is like, dude, if you're thinking about buying an Acro at all, just buy the C&H Precision Duty. It's phenomenal, and it uses the same footprint.
I haven't seen it yet. So
yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, I've seen it, but I haven't got to.
Yeah, you saw
through.
it on my gun.
Yeah, I haven't got to see through.
Yeah, it might be a little tough for you because it is a little bit of a smaller window,
Mhm.
and it is a circle dot, which I know you have a little bit of a problem with when it's that small, because it starts to starburst for you. But that video was sick, and we're gonna start filming some content once I get up north and I get some clothes that I can go outside in.
You can see John in flip flops and some shorts. Gonna be prancing to his door.
I'm gonna pull what's his name, Nolan from Tacticon. I'm gonna be out there in the snow in my flip flops and board shorts and my linen shirts from Miami. Oh God, we're digressing. I don't have too many shout outs this week.
John's gonna be the Miami freaking warlord of Pennsylvania.
Right. I'm the new cocaine cowboy. Oh man. What I will say, my shout outs this week, my shout outs will go to some content creators that are just doing a fantastic job. Sean Ryan for having Donald Trump, Theo Vaughn for having Donald Trump, even Lex Friedman, even though I don't agree with him all the time, him for having Donald Trump on the Danny Jones podcast, the Julian Dory podcast. Shout out to all of those guys for just putting out fucking killer content all the time. If you haven't watched Julian, you know, we have a connection with him from John Manelli, who was also on his podcast. And man, I just highly encourage everybody to start listening to those things, because they talk about topics that nobody else is talking about.
Yeah.
And read some books, people. My last shout out is to that author, William R. Fortune. Man, all of his books are killer. I just finished up Day of Wrath. Just it's real world shit, you know? It's stuff that like you can relate to. Like I said, this last one was you know, about like how these ISIS fighters are taking over our schools and shit like that. And so yeah, man, just could not be more emphatic about like, hey, let's get out there and read some books, read up on some material, listen to these podcasters. If you remember Bronson Pinchot, do you remember Bronson Pinchot?
Mm-mm.
He was Balky
Okay.
from oh god, what was the TV show called now? God, I'm gonna die here if I don't figure it out. He plays like an alien. Perfect Strangers.
Oh, okay. Perfect Strangers. Okay.
Balky from Perfect Strangers is the narrator for all of William R. Fortune's books almost, and he like fantastic. He does all the voices for like male, female, like the whole thing. It's really, really good. So those are my shout outs for the week.
Nice. I just want to tell you guys this. So I encourage all of you guys to, one, listen to a congressional hearing. Okay? So listen to a congressional hearing. And two, I suggest all of you guys go right now, hop over to Sean Ryan, and go listen to the podcast about Abbygate, because that will piss you so fucking much off, and you will never want to vote Democrat ever fucking again. It'll just, not even just that, it's going to piss you the fuck off. If you went to war, didn't go to war, it doesn't make a difference. Go watch that, because the information in that will blow your fucking mind.
Yeah, that was Tyler Vargas Andrews, I believe, is that episode. So you can probably find it under that.
Yeah. And what's the girl that talked about Abbygate too afterwards?
God, what's her name?
Her pod,
Former CNN.
Yep, the podcast.
Or CNN, CIA.
CIA. Yeah, I can't think of her name. But she was on she was talking about Abbygate too, Sean Ryan show as well. Those two are filled with so much information the American people absolutely need to hear it.
Yeah. Sarah Adams.
Sarah Adams. There
That's
you go.
right.
Go watch that.
Yeah, go watch those.
Yeah. And shout out to you guys for watching us. And
like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. And until you see us in about 2 weeks, I'm John. That's Don. We're the Liberty Goons, and we are
out.